Well, hello, this is Yvonne Teoh Bource from Connect the Soul. And today I want to talk about what really matters. Nothing brings us in a more reflective mood than when we have to say goodbye to a loved one. And that has been the case for me recently. And in that reflective mode, it occurred to me just how much time we waste on things that really don't matter. And how I really came to that conclusion is when I went back into my family members' premises and realized that what we leave behind is so much stuff. Now look, I'm surrounded by stuff. Just have to look around my office. And I am in the process of culling that because it made me think about what really matters. And in that time of saying goodbye to someone who is very dear to me and to our family, I recognized what came to the surface and what really mattered was being surrounded by loved ones, having memories that made you feel good. And the feeling that what really mattered was that that person had spent so much time in your life and the impact that was left behind. So this subject of what really matters really came about because, as those of you who have been following me over the years realize that one of my fascination is the creative process and how we can consciously become manifestors of our reality. And the process of creation has always been a fascinating thing, and the fact is that we are creating with every breath we take. That is the process of this whole universe. It is constantly in the process of creation. It never stops. You might stop when you have this sensation that you go to sleep and everything stops. No, this universe is still creating, is continuously growing and changing and moving. And I think the greatest illusion that we have to come to terms with is the fact that as human beings, we actually don't really control that. We can't control that. And so by teaching the process of creation and manifestation, we have spent quite a lot of time manifesting things, right? I like to manifest a house, I like to manifest a job, I manifest, my soulmate, whatever, my holiday. And they're always physical gratifications, physical experiences, tangible things. But what I have come to the conclusion of in the last few weeks, and it's not new, but it just has intensified for me, is that what really matters is none of those things. What really matters, what we really need to learn to be consciously manifesting is none of those things. Yes, they're fun, but they don't matter. What really, really matters is that we become conscious manifestors and creators of love, of peace, of health, of well-being, of self-care, of understanding that we are part of a whole, that we cannot really do or be anything without impacting the whole. It is so important for us to change from learning to manifest abundance, on the internet, particularly in YouTube. And hey, you go to my YouTube channel, as obviously you're on that, you will find many things about manifesting things. But for me, today, I don't need a thing. My manifestation is just purely on learning more and more about what really matters and becoming that and exuding that and ultimately being the thing that I leave behind. And that is the ability to understand that we are all one, that we are all connected, that all of this universe breathes the same energy. We can only exist because of this one energetic force. And when we understand that, we can stop hurting each other. We can stop feeling that we are hardly done by, that one has more than the other. If all that matters in our life, right from the get-go, from the first breath we take, we learn that we are here to love, to appreciate, to expand, to participate, and to enjoy. That means to live with the joy within, and joy. That is what really matters. What really matters is to become a conscious, living expression of love, peace, compassion, and appreciation. That's what really matters. It's what really matters to me today, and it ought to be really what matters to you every day. So how much of your day do you spend on what really matters? So I'll just give you a little example because, I use myself as an example, and I do spend more and more time observing the physicality of me. And before I sat down to do this video, I spent quite a bit of time on rearranging a few things in my office so that it looked okay to those who are watching, so that there is less and less distraction. Now, part of that was also how I appear. It's easy to rearrange furniture and put a plant here and do a thing there, and that matters to me. It matters to me because we are human beings who are very easily distracted, and I don't want you to miss the message. As I always say, don't shoot the messenger. Listen to the message. So one of the things that really bugged me as I was watching myself in my testing videos was that my eyeshadow wasn't right. And so I'm sitting there blinking away and looking at my eyes and going, okay, well, one eye is bigger than the other. But did you know that all of us, one eye is bigger than the other? So that I could cope with that bit. But there was just something not right. And so off I went and I rearranged my eyeshadow. And as I was walking back, I heard this voice in my head with a bit of a chuckle, which is my inner voice, the one that lives within. That is me, the observer, going, and what really matters? And so I did have to have a laugh, because does it really matter? But you see, it did matter to me because I don't want people to be distracted. For now you are, because you're watching my eyeshadow. It's okay. It really doesn't matter. What matters is what matters to you. I'd like you to really examine your life and start to eliminate the things in your life that you've paid a great deal of attention to and given a lot of your energy away to, that at the end of the day, and I mean at the end of the day, don't really matter. During this time of grieving that my family is going through, I experienced a deep sadness. And it was an interesting thing because as the observer, I was observing the feeling of this sadness. And I was asking the question, what was I sad about? Or what was the feeling of sadness expressing to me? And what I came up with was that I wasn't sad for me, because I don't really believe in death. I believe in transition of form, and I believe that life goes on forever. You can't extinguish life as such. It just changes form. The leaves fall off the tree and they look dead, but they're not, because they become beautiful, beautiful mulch for the rest of the garden. So no, life is a cyclical experience. And I believe that for us as well. One of the things about us as human beings is there's this terrible illusion that we're brought up with, that we are separate from the rest of nature, from this universe. And it is in that separation that we then cause ourselves the greatest burden. And that is, we think we have to control everything else. We think that we are better than, or less than, definitely different than. Instead of just recognizing we're all a different expression of this amazing universe, this field of consciousness that we are a part of. So I thought about, well, what makes us different? Well, what makes us different as a human species is that we have this incredible gift that we actually can consciously observe ourselves. And that is something that we forget. We are so busy with the manifestation of the things, that we have no time or no stillness to connect with what really matters, and that is this voice within that brought us here in the first place. This consciousness that lives within us, that is observing us. So as you're listening to me, who is listening and who is observing? Well, I can tell you that as I'm speaking, this certainly isn't the person. This is not the persona. I just sign up, I open myself up, and I allow my inner self, this consciousness, to speak through me. And what this consciousness is telling me every day, that humanity needs to wake up to itself. It needs to wake up to the gift that it's been given, and that is the ability to be conscious and to take responsibility for that consciousness. We have fallen into the trap of living most of our lives as humans. We have constantly been distracted by accumulation of the material world. We have been distracted by fear of not having. We have been distracted by so many different things that have taken us away from who we truly are. This incredible field of consciousness expressing itself through this species of humanity that allows us to actually do this observation of life consciously. That's what makes us different. I don't think, I have these two beautiful cats. I don't think that they spend 1 minute consciously being concerned about being a cat or not a cat. Maybe wanting to be a dog. They just do cat. And they do it beautifully. They haven't got it within them to sit there and go, well, I wonder what I'll do with my life now. I wonder who's going to feed me. I wonder. They don't do that. They just do catness. Mine just do it very, very beautifully. The plants I surround myself with, they just do what they do. And they do it to the best of their ability. They don't get distracted. Well, one thing is they can't move out of the pot. So I guess it's pretty limiting for them. The fact that we can move, that we can go about our business and do stuff. With that comes a great responsibility, but it also comes with this great distraction. Because we're constantly focusing outside of ourselves instead, and we forget who we are. We think that the way to be happy is when we make other people happy. We think that to be happy we have to have certain things that make us feel good. But at the end of the day, what really is the ultimate feel good is when you come home to you. When you come home to this understanding of who you are and what really matters. At the end of the day, when you take your last breath, what really matters is that you feel good, that you feel at peace within, that you have a great sense of well-being, that you know that you live this life open, filled with love, with gratitude, with compassion, with appreciation, and with knowing who you are, and having lived that knowing to the best of your ability in every breath you take, because with every breath you take in the gift of life. That gift is not about how much money you have in the bank. That gift is not about having the best house, the best car, the best anything. It is about having the best you. Being the best expression of this gift of life. That is what really matters. So that when it comes to the end of your life, you can close your eyes and you can say goodbye to this experience with a smile on your face and a glint in your eye and a full heart of gratitude and love. That is what really matters. And if that is not how you feel today, then please, I beg of you, find your way to that. Find your way in every moment of your life to make it matter for you. When it matters for you and it makes you feel good, you radiate an energy vibration that makes everyone feel good. This is a beautiful energy of consciousness that has at its absolute core love. Not the love of I love you, which is very nice, but love as the force of creation. The more you love, the more expansive you feel. The more you are loved, the more expansive you feel. So doesn't that tell you something? I walk around my house. You know, this is me, the persona. I walk around my house and I fondle my plants. You know, people say you fondle your garden. Well, my garden is prolific. I keep getting these phone calls of people who want to sell me mulch and they want to sell me, you know, stuff for my garden. And I say, I don't need it because my garden, it is what it is for me out of love, because I love it, I nurture it, I take care of it, and I appreciate it. Every plant that I have around me, I stroke the leaves. I actually tell them how much I appreciate them in my life, how much I love the flowers that come out of the orchids. Oh, I love orchids. And I'm becoming quite good at it, you know. So at growing orchids and loving orchids. But we are the flowers of humanity, and yet we destroy each other and often ourselves. So what really matters? What really matters is feeling good. What really matters is being healthy, and that is your individual responsibility, being healthy. It means that you take care of you. This instrument is the gift of life. Take care of it. Nurture it in a healthy way. You know, move it, exercise it in a healthy way. That doesn't mean you have to be a track runner or you know, I don't really exercise very much, but I stretch. I always stretch every morning. And I walk. Some people are obsessed by, you know, exercise, and bless them. That is their propensity. That is what they're drawn to. Me, not so much. But I have other ways. You need to find your way. No one else's way is necessarily your way. You have to find your individual, beautiful signature of life. Life within you either hums, or it feels constricted, or it's blocked. And when you have those feelings, it is your responsibility to stop all the external stuff and come within yourself and go, what do you need? What can I do to make you feel better? Because it's our individual responsibility. It isn't somebody else's responsibility to make you feel good. That is not necessary. If you feel good about yourself, you will feel good about everything and everyone else, and they will automatically feel good about you. But if you don't feel good about you, about who you are, what you put out there, then people feel that and they will respond accordingly. That is what really matters. What really matters is for you to be in a flow, in accordance with this universe, with the breathing in and out of this life force. When you learn to be in the flow, when you live in a place of synchronicity where everything just goes, and that takes trust, and it takes the ability to listen, not to this but to this. This tells you the truth every time. This is just full of all sorts of stuff that other people have put in there. So when you listen to these messages from me, and so there is so much on YouTube these days that you can embrace and listen to. You can find the people that resonate with you. And so if this resonates with you, feel it here. If you're trying to analyze it there, you are missing the point. Because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. It doesn't matter whether you like my eyeshadow or not. It doesn't matter whether you like the music that I'm playing in the background. None of those things. We seem to look at the world through the eyes of good, bad, right, wrong. I am going to be doing a video very, very soon about going beyond, right and wrong, good and bad, because it's something I've given up a long time ago. Gosh, it set me free. It set me free to be okay. When I mess up, it's okay. It's okay. Once upon a time, I had the biggest baseball bat of all. I would beat myself up mercilessly. No longer do I do that. Because I know what really matters. What really matters to me is me, and then you. Because you are just another expression of this universe, just like me. And therefore, we are connected. Whether you like it or not, we are connected. We are breathing in the same universal airflow. We're breathing out the same carbon dioxide, which other people are breathing in. We are breathing each other in and out continuously. We are all connected in the food we eat. We are connected to the animals. We are connected to the plants. We are connected to the universe through every breath we take. So to think that we are separate is not just an illusion, it's unintelligent. And I know that we are becoming more and more consciously intelligent. Not through what we learn from schools, but what we are learning from in here. From conscious awareness, from observation of life as it breathes all around us. So what really matters is that I love life, and I am an expression of life, therefore I love me. And you are an expression of life, and therefore I love you. That is what matters to me. And what matters to me is that you find your path to knowing what really matters, and then to be brave enough, strong enough, and connected enough to live what really matters. So that's my message today. And if you like my work, click the subscribe button and the bell beside, and you'll be notified when I do another video, which won't be too far away. Share it with your friends if you want. Just be the best of you. You'll find links to my work, to my website, to my Facebook page, and to my Global Spiritual Book Club group. And any of those are available to you. But what's most available to you is your life and what really matters.